Okay, 1.7 is solving equations. Solving equations. Okay. When you solve a problem like x plus 3 equals 5, you already know what it is, right? In your head? What's the answer? 2. Okay. Actually, the work that you need to show that goes along with what you already know the answer is, you want to get the variable, which is your x. The letter is your variable because it varies what x could be. You want to get the variable by itself. It had 3 added to it. To get that 3 away from there, we need to subtract it. If it was added, the opposite is subtracting. So we're going to subtract 3, but you can't subtract 3 from one side without subtracting it from the other side also to keep the equation equal. Okay? This is 0, so that cancels out. All that's left on that side of the equal sign is x. And then 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay? If you have a problem that's subtracted, if you have x minus 4 equals 7. Okay, don't tell me it's 3, because 3 minus 4 is not 7. What number would you subtract 4 from to get 7? Okay, the way to do that, the opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4. We're going to add 4 to both sides. So you have x equals 7 plus 4 is 11. And you could check these by putting this number back into your original equation. Where the x was, you put the answer, 11 minus 4. Okay, 11 minus 4 is 7. So you can check to make sure you got the right answer there. Okay, that's for adding and subtracting. And you do it even if your variable is on the other side. If you had like 12 equals x plus 4. You still look at the side where the variable is and do the opposite operation. So you have x plus 4, so you're going to subtract 4 from both sides. This is 0, it cancels. You have x left. 12 minus 4 is 8. So you always look at the side that your variable's on to see what to do to it. Okay, if we have one that has 28 equals x minus 6. What are we going to do to both sides?
Half.
Add how much?
6.
Right. Got to add the part that's by the variable. Do the opposite operation. 28 plus 6. So it's 34, right? So 28 is equal to 34 minus 6. And it comes out. Okay, that's adding and subtracting. You're going to do the same thing with multiply and divide. They're opposite operations, or inverse operations, same thing as opposite. Inverse operations, they undo each other. So if you have x times 20 equals 100. Okay, what times 20 is 100? You kind of already know, okay, the answer is going to be 5. But what you need to do, this is multiply, the opposite of multiply is divide. looking at just the side where the variables are, that was multiplied by 20, so you're going to divide by 20 on both sides. So that cancels out. 20 over 20 is 1. 1x is just x. Okay, so you have x left on this side. 100 divided by 20 gives you 5. So 5 times 20 is 100. That checks out. Okay, now let's do a divided one. How about a number divided by 6 is 24. Don't tell me 4. 6 times 4 is 24, but 4 divided by 6 is not 24, right? Okay, look at this side where the variable is. Y is divided by 6. What's the opposite of dividing by 6?
Multiply.
Multiply by 6 on both sides. 6 over 6 is 1. 1y is just y. Okay, now do 24 times 6. 6 times 4, 24. 6 times 2, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So this is telling you 144 divided by 6 is 24. And that checks out. Okay. That's how to solve them. If it just has a simple problem like x equals 24 plus 36, you didn't have to do anything opposite. All you got to do is just add those. You have a few really simple ones like that. Just add those two, and you have 60. X is 60. There are some real simple ones like that for you also. Let's see. Everybody look at the problems on page 52 and 53, see if there's any questions on them. Number 57 and 58 have, it's kind of like this, except the letter is second. You still do the same thing. Like 57, it gives you the problem 58 times m equals 11,890. Even if the m is second, whether it's second or whether it's in front of it, if it's multiplied, you still do the division to undo it. So that one you would be dividing it by 58. Like that. And somebody know what that is? 11,890 divided by 58? Anybody have it? It's 205. Okay. So 58 times 205 is 11,890. Okay, now we'll go ahead to 1.8, if there's not any questions on 1.7. Okay, 1.8, you're doing word problems, application problems that have to do with solving equations. You're going to have to translate it in to see what you need to do. Like 1 and 2 say how much taller is one building than the other. What are you going to be doing to solve that? How much taller? Subtracting, right. If somebody's 60 inches and the other person's 67 inches, one person is 7 inches taller, right? Okay. A lot of this is pretty much common sense on what to do with it. But we're going to be doing work in class, so if you have questions while you're doing these word problems, we can even work them together, okay? But go ahead and try it first. Just when you're writing the problem down, you don't have to write the whole question out. Some of these are like almost a paragraph. Just condense it down into the question, like how much taller is this or that. Like on number 11, you have a really long problem there. The boundary between the United States and Canada, including the Great Lakes, is this long. So you could just put, like, border is 3987 miles long. You could condense that, okay? You don't have to write all the question out like that. But you do need to write down the important information and what it's asking you. Write down the numbers and the question. It says the length of the boundary between U.S. and Mexico is 1933. So you could put Canada is the first, Mexico is the second. It says how much longer is one than the other. So just condense that down. And if you don't want to condense it, write the whole thing. That's up to you. But that's just a bunch of word problems. 1.9. You're writing with exponents. What is an exponent?
Doesn't the X have like 2 words?
An exponent is the number that has the, like if you have 5 squared, the exponent is which part? The 2, right. The bottom part here, the number that's being repeated, that's called the base. The number up above it is your exponent. Okay, the exponent tells you how many times you're multiplying the base times itself. So this would mean 5 times 5, which simplifies to 25, right. If you had 3 to the 5th power, don't do 3 times 5 and make it 15. Okay, you have to do 3 that many times. You have to do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. You can do them like in groups like 9 times 9 times 3, or you can do them one at a time. Okay? As long as you multiply all of them and get one answer, it'll come out to the same answer, no matter what order you do it. And that 9 times 9 is 81 times 3, 243. 3 times 1, and then 3 times 8. Okay, when you're doing these problems, pay very close attention to the directions, because some of the directions just tell you to switch this into exponential. You don't have to do the multiplication if it just wants the exponential notation for it. Okay? If it tells you to write this number in exponential notation, you don't have to multiply it. How would that be written in exponential notation?
9 to the 4th.
9 to the 4th power. Right. How about if we have this one right here?
10 to the 3rd.
10 to the 3rd power. Okay. For the 2 and the 3, there's special names for it. For the rest of them, you say to the whatever power. If it has a 2, it's called squared. Okay, like you were doing area, the square, yard squared had a 2 up there. If it has a 2, it's called squared. So if you have 5, 2, you could say 5 to the 2nd power, or you could say 5 squared. Okay? If you have 10 with a 3 exponent, 10 base and 3 exponent, you would say 10 to the third power. Or you would say 10 cubed. Okay? Those are the only two that have special names, the 2 and the 3. If it has a 20 up there in the exponent, just say to the 20th power. Okay. When there's parentheses, you need to know the order of operation. If there's some parentheses in a problem, you need to do them first, okay? Let me get rid of this. Does anybody remember the words?
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Right. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses,
Exponents.
exponents and square roots, right?
Yeah.
Exponents and square roots come next.
Multiplication.
Multiplying and dividing.
And then add and subtract.
This is from left to right, right? Don't do all the multiply and then divide. Do this from left to right. And again,
Add and subtract to left to right.
add and subtract from left to right. And you're going to have to use some of this in this 1.9. Okay, we'll do, you have to do number 28? With your problem sheet.
No, it said extra credit.
How about 27?
Yeah, we have to do that one.
We have to do that one.
We'll do the extra credit one together. Let's do number 28. When you do it on your homework, make sure to show every single step. Don't just do little chicken scratch to the side. Make sure you show every step of what you do. 32 minus 27 is in parentheses to the third power plus 19 plus 1 in parentheses to the third power. Okay, first of all, parentheses. So we're going to simplify what's inside the parentheses first. 32 minus 27
5.
is 5. So that will be to the third power. 19 plus 1,
20.
20 will be to the third power. You don't have to have the parentheses once you simplify this. I put it on here, but you don't have to have it. Don't forget to put the addition sign between it. Okay, this means 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25 times 5, 125, right. This is 20 times 20 times 20. So this part is not 40, it's 400, right? 400 times 20, 8,000. So you have 8,000 plus 125.
So it's 8,125.
8,125, right. So make sure and follow the order of operations when you're doing these. How about one like this? 22 plus 16 times 10. Are you going to add 22 plus 16?
No,
No. You got to do the multiply first.
So 160
160
plus 22.
plus 22 is
182.
182, like that. It's good to block in your answers. That way, if you do all the work and then write them down, they're real easy to find. Don't forget to put your answer column on the side. When you're doing your homework, make sure to write an answer column. It'll be easier to grade. Okay? Let's do do a long one. Let's see, did you have to do 52? No?
No.
Okay, let's do that one. Number 52 on page 48, or 78, sorry. Okay, 80 minus 2 to the 4th power times 15 divided by, parentheses, 7 times 5 minus 45 divided by 3, parentheses. Long one. Don't let it scare you, just start with parentheses.
So 7 times 5.
Okay, inside the parentheses, we have to do order of operations. The multiplying and dividing, we have to do first, right?
7 times 5.
7 times 5, 35.
Now 45 divided by
45 divided by 3 is 15. Leave that in parentheses and rewrite the whole thing, okay? We know before we do this, we can go ahead and get that exponent done. We can go ahead and spread it out if you want, so we can see what it looks like. We'll write it like that. Okay, we still haven't finished our parentheses. So let's finish
35
that.
minus
Is 20. Okay, rewrite the rest of this. Let's go ahead and simplify this 2 to the 4th. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2, 8 times 2,
16.
16. And bring this multiplication sign down. Make sure and rewrite the whole thing every time. It should come down like a tornado. It gets smaller every time. Okay, now we've done our parentheses, we've done our exponents. What comes after that? Multiplying and dividing. Left to right.
So 16 times
Yeah, you have to do this one first. Even if it said divide and then multiply, you do the first one. You do this left to right. Leave the 80. 16 times 15. 16 times 15. We have 30, 5 times 8. Put it 0, 1 times 6, 1 times 1. That's 14.
240.
Okay, 240. Divided by 20. Now what do we do?
Now we're going to divide.
Okay. 24 divided by 2 is 12. It's just going to be 12, isn't it?
Yeah.
12 times 20. So this came out to 12. Rewrite the whole thing. It's getting skinnier. 80 minus 12. 80 minus 10 is 70, and then 2 more is 68. And there's your answer. That is your final answer. There's a really long one on page 79, but I'll let you practice on them. If you don't feel like the questions that were assigned to you is giving you enough practice where you feel comfortable that you can do the problems when they come up on a test, go ahead and do the other ones that aren't assigned and check them in the back of the book. Do, what is it, the odds in the back? Do the odds and check them. You know, if you feel like you need more practice, do more practice. Don't just do what's assigned because that's all that's required. If you feel like you need more, do more. And if you have extra time on the weekend, you may want to do, if you haven't done the mid-chapter review yet, you may want to go ahead and do it so you don't have to do it between Tuesday and Thursday next week. That's extra credit, and the practice test is extra credit. So if you want to get the extra credit stuff done and you have more time to do it now, you can do stuff ahead of time like that. Is there any questions over anything on this section? Did you want to do some more together? No? On page 65, let's look at 13. One of the word problems. Page 65, number 13. Let me put it up here so we can read it together. Let's see. High definition television or HDTV screen consists of small rectangular dots called pixels. There's no reason you have to write that on your problem, right? How many pixels are there on a screen that has 1080 rows with this many pixels, 1920 pixels in each row? So what we're going to do, we could draw a rectangle that would represent your TV screen. Here's your TV screen. Sometimes it's a good thing when you're doing word problems to draw a picture of what you're doing. So it says that there are, the rows go sideways. It says there's 1,080 rows. So that's how many rows are going across here. And each row, each one of these has 1,920 pixels.
Don't you multiply?
You're going to multiply. You'll do the rows times how many are in each row. And your answer will be how many what? What are we finding?
Pixel.
How many pixels are on the whole screen? So you put what the unit is of what you found. If you found out so many dollars, put the dollar sign. If you found out how many hours or how many miles or something, put that on there. Don't forget to be writing your unit of what you found.
Can you do number 64 on 79?
Okay, page 79, number 64, another order of operation. Number 69,
Page 69, number 64.
79, number 64.
I mean 79.
Okay, we're doing page 79, number 64. It's a long problem. Okay, parentheses, 18 divided by 2 parentheses, times. I call this a squiggle. There's a bracket and a parentheses all together there. 9 times 9 minus 1. Parentheses divided by 2. There's the end of the bracket. Minus another bracket. 5 times 2, or 20, sorry. 5 times 20 minus parentheses 7 times 9 minus 2 parentheses, and then we're closing this bracket and we're closing the squiggle. Okay, long problem. When you're working inside of a squiggle and a bracket is a parenthesis. You're just, the farther out you go, you have to change it so you'll know what's inside there. Inside the squiggles, you have 2 brackets, so we have to work those separately. And then after we do them, we're going to subtract them. Okay, so for each one of these brackets inside here, we have to start working inside the bracket. We're going to work the parenthesis inside the bracket. This parenthesis, what part do? You have to do the multiplication first, right? So we'll do that. In this parenthesis, in this bracket, you have this parenthesis, you're going to do this first. Okay? You can go ahead and do this. It's not going to, because you have to do that before you subtract anyway. So we're going to do these multiplications first. Actually, you can go ahead and do this and just keep that one number out here. 18 divided by 2. You can put that 9 there. And you're just going to be bringing it down. Okay, in this parenthesis, we have 81 is 9 times 9, and then put minus 1. Rewrite divided by 2 in the bracket, minus 5 times 20 is 100, minus, in this parenthesis, you have 7 times 9, 63. Then minus 2. In the parenthesis, you have a bracket and a squiggle. Now it's already a little shorter. We still need to get the parentheses out of here, out of our brackets. We need to take care of these parentheses. So leave the 9 out here, leave the squiggle, and the bracket. Now the parentheses, 81 minus 1 is 80. You don't need to leave that in parentheses anymore. 80, and then write divided by 2. Minus, then you have 100, minus 63 minus 2, 61. We don't need the parentheses around it anymore. Okay, now working inside the squiggles, we're going to do the brackets first. We're going to take care of those before we get rid of our brackets. Leave the 9, leave the squiggle, 80 divided by 2, 40. Minus 100 minus 61, 39. 100 minus 61 is 39. Okay. Actually, these could have been turned into parentheses now. Okay, so now before we multiply, we want to do inside. We're still not finished with parentheses because these are the same as parentheses. 40 minus 39, 1. And then leave the times 9 in front. The 9 times 1 is 9. There you have smaller and smaller. Okay? And any more questions? Because if there's any questions, we want to get it on the video so you can watch it later if you need to. No? And y'all, I'm going to turn the lights on so y'all can start working your homework. And it takes forever sometimes to upload these things to YouTube, so I'm going to start it uploading while you start your homework. That way people that missed can just watch it, huh? Because we had a few people that missed. Frances said she saw the video on there earlier today. And I put one from another class and I went and checked ours and I didn't see it on there. So I may have to get it back on your page. The video from the last session, 4, 5, and 6, should be on your My NMSU on the Blackboard page.
Okay.